This episode is brought to you by Beyond Pride. When you advertise with First Nations, make sure you advertise with pride. That's www.beyondpride.com. Pride spelled PRYDE.com. All right, guys, welcome back to the Creators Game. We have another episode of the Creators Game. I am joined by
Jay Smith.
And we have
Hello, Kouchi.
And let's get right into it. We have to start because I know everyone here on Six Nations is going to be like, who is Kouchi? And we're going to introduce you to the world and to the world of lacrosse. So tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay, I'm just saying my name is Kouchi Nakamura. I just came from Japan. Japan with like Fukuoka, which is like southern part of Japan, like not snowing in like here. Then I just studied for the found for the lacrosse when I was like 18 years old. Then I found for like Lyle Thompson lacrosse highlight and the Mikey Power lacrosse highlight. Then okay, I like this sport. Then I wanna play this sports, but my Japanese college has no lacrosse team. Also, like my hometown has not many like lacrosse team yet. So that's why I'm like, okay, I wanna make a lacrosse team in my college. Then I just studied for the lacrosse team in my college. Like hey guys, you wanna play lacrosse? This is my lacrosse stick. You wanna play lacrosse? Then I just studied for the making the team for my team. I mean my college. Then my journey was started. Then like after the 4 years, it came for the I wanna go to another country like North America, especially like Canada, like Haudenosaunee, like America. This is my like my highest level in the lacrosse world. So that's why okay, I decided to get the challenge to the North America. Then I got some fundraising for the government scholarship. Then get some sponsors. Then I just landed for the state for the Onondaga Lasers. Then I played 2 years. Then after the I back to Japan. They get some company sponsor. Then try to the NLL for the Toronto for the sign. Then after the I playing the Arena Lacrosse League right now. Then summer is just major series lacrosse for the senior A for the Brampton Excelsiors. This is my kind of my short journey right now. Yeah.
Okay, so but when did you first hear lacrosse? Like how do you even come across I don't know what it's like in Japan. So did you see it on TV? Did you read about it in books, or do they actually play it in schools? How big is lacrosse in Japan?
Yeah, lacrosse, Japanese lacrosse market. I mean, 100 Japanese college team. They have a lacrosse team. Especially Tokyo, Osaka, two of the biggest city. They have many. I mean, many of their lacrosse team in there. But my hometown has just that time was maybe 7 or 6 teams in my area. So that's why I didn't know what is a lacrosse when I was 18 years old. Then I just researching for the Google for the when I entered for the college, what I do for the new stuff. Then I just found lacrosse is everybody started from the 18 years old, freshman year. So that's when I used to play the basketball for the 6 years. Then I was super hardworking the basketball time, but I didn't make it national team players. Whatever, I didn't make it my dream. So that's when okay, if I'm gonna play lacrosse, maybe I can make the number 1 player in Japan, or maybe national team, or professional players, whatever. Maybe lacrosse makes me the new dream. So that's when I just found for the lacrosse article or YouTube. Then I just love getting loving the lacrosse right now.
Mm-hmm. So in Japan, how is it different? I understand that box lacrosse, because I did a little bit of research. Box lacrosse is actually predominantly big. It's bigger than field lacrosse. I don't even think you guys have the field lacrosse, do you?
Yes, just only the field lacrosse. This is no box lacrosse arena ILA, nothing for the box lacrosse culture yet.
But so how could you possibly what is the overall plan? Of course you want to go pro and stuff like that. But like when it comes to like you say you got sponsors and stuff like that, and people are paying you to like kind of be here. Like, do you feel like you could make lacrosse bigger in Japan? Is that kind of like the goal? I guess is to be that like because I've looked at the Instagram and it's to be the first Japan professional lacrosse player. So is that kind of the thing? Is to be like, hey, if I can do it, more people and possibly Japan could make this sport bigger.
Mm-mm. Yeah, this is my like, kind of another dream because nobody tried to be the like NRL in my Japanese history. Maybe in the many years ago, just old guy tried to the NRL, but not recently. Just me and a couple of guys try to the NRL right now. But like if like I do the like try to the like NRL for this couple of years, then maybe young kids or just in Japanese young kids, have tried to the like if the Japanese lacrosse kids are fond of the lacrosse, then just everybody study play lacrosse for the college. But everybody quit for the lacrosse for the end of the like senior year because like just couple for the like club team in Japan, but not making money. This is like kind of a problem because if you love the lacrosse in Japan, but just play lacrosse in the club team in the after the college. This is not like America, not like Canada, not like Haudenosaunee like culture because if you start to play lacrosse, but you can dream to in the professional players in the future. This is kind of like like Japanese problem right now. But if I'm gonna make it like active roster in the NRL, oh, coach can make the dream for as a professional player. Like maybe I can make a dream. So that this is I'm gonna make the open the doors for the next generation. This is my kind of like my another dream.
Yeah, I think it's very like that's great too. Especially it takes balls to come over here and be like, hey, I'm gonna go play here specifically, like Six Nations. And then this is probably like the one of the biggest questions like I wanted to ask you was like what do they teach you about lacrosse? Like when they say who invented it, when they say like the history of it, like what it like from schooling, from your coaches, from just like what is told out in Japan of the history of lacrosse before you even pick up a stick. Like you have to learn about the history of it. So what is told to you?
So like I'm just thinking for you were talking about like uh, question is like say again please.
Like when you like obviously like there's lacrosse in Japan, but when they talk to you about the history like of who created lacrosse, like the original people who created lacrosse.
Mm-mm-mm-mm. Yeah, like Japanese people, like Japanese lacrosse player, not many people they understanding for the like Native Americans, like Haudenosaunee people who created lacrosse. So that's why like just they use the lacrosse stick, then throw their balls, then get some scores, just play lacrosse. So no many people like understanding for the what is the background for the lacrosse. Maybe they know some guys like from the Native American peoples, Haudenosaunee people studied for their like reservation, then do some like couple hundred years for the make the lacrosse for the market right now. But like honestly, not many. Just a few people know the lacrosse history here.
Yes, so like because like for like lacrosse, it's like almost like a part of you. It's like that feeling of that like you can always go to it. It's like that friend or something like that. Like a best friend of like you can go to your lacrosse, like you can play catch with someone, you can like get your emotions out, you can like carry what you've learned on the bench and on the floor into like real life. So I just wonder like in Japan, like is lacrosse kind of carried that way? Or is it just simply, hey, we're going to go on the floor and you're going to get a goal and I'm going to get a goal and we're going to see who can get more goals?
Like I think the like some of the Japanese players, it's same with the like here, like lacrosse people here, like example like I'm just bring to the my lacrosse stick to go to my college. I mean to the classes. When I like step up for the like how to say stairs, I'm just cradling with my stick on the board, some stuff. This is kind of crazy, but another my young college lacrosse guy, they do the like early wake up early time. They do the ball, then practice there. Then after the workout, then after the practice, then go there. just volleyball again. Everybody, maybe some guys love the lacrosse for every single day. Which is the passion is almost like similar like here.
So how do you guys know each other? Because like I know how you guys know each other, but is it kind of like is this kind of like, hey, that's the opposition right there, like that's the team that we play against? Because you got I did see the first time I met about or first time I've met you and heard about you, you were actually playing the Riverman. So like, is he kind of like the enemy at this point right now, or how does that really work? And also, what does your teammate say about the Rivermen? I want to know that. What does the team say? Are they too rough?
Like Lieberman to me.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Are the Rivermen too rough out there?
Oh. Wait. You Liebermans, right? Do they play the margins or crush editor?
When you were with Clearview, we played against you guys.
Yeah.
So what Dea is asking is, does Clearview or do any other teams in Senior B, what is their take or what is your take when it comes to playing against the Rivermen?
Oh. Like, wait.
Do you like playing against the Rivermen?
Oh, I mean, yeah, that's it. Like, I like to play against the Lieberman, like because like I feel like something different between the Japanese lacrosse guy, also like Canadian guy versus for the Haudenosaunee players, like stick skills is quite like unique, and also like using by the body movement. This is like everything different. So that's why if I'm gonna against play the Lieberman guys or like Six Nation Chiefs guy, and like huge difference between the when I was like playing in Japan, like in the state, like this is huge difference for me. So that's why I'm just like excited to play against the Lieberman guy or a Six Nation Chiefs guy. Like yeah, I like that. I love it so much.
That's a really great answer, because I can tell you took time to think about it. You're like, ooh, I wanna get this right. But like, so like, what is the biggest difference? Like, is it size? Is it the aggression? Is it the speed of the game? Is it like what do you think is like the biggest difference? I'm sure you've literally played different like internationally. So what would you say is the biggest difference?
Yeah, like one is stick skills. It's absolutely for the like what is a strong point for the Haudenosaunee guy, because like every time they do the BTB or every time do the like no look the diagonal pass or like nation look pass, that's super crazy, because like usually like Japan just see look at the pass guy, then send it for the feeding them, then this is regular. But here is nobody just feel like, oh, Jay's here, look, like BTB or something like that. This is experience makes you like super like good skills, and the second is across IQ is so high here, because they know each other. Like that's why oh, Jay's here, but they fear Jay's here. So that's why they don't think something. Just maybe oh, Jay's here, then do the BDB or something like that. So this is super high across IQ everybody. Then like physical contact is super strong here. Like looks like oh, this guy is not maybe athletic, but if do against for Cody Jameson, Austin stats, they're super strong man, right? So that's when like they have stick skills, across IQ. We use a huge physical contact. This is not nothing in Japan. Japanese guy is some guys is a huge guy, like but not like big guy, not like good skill guy, not like super like high IQ, across IQ guy. This is quite different between Japan and here.
Mm-hmm.
That was actually a very good breakdown. Like
It was.
that was very thorough breakdown right there. I appreciate that.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, like with there being like such a difference, how do you play? Because you do play with two teams, right? How do you work in these systems when, especially going against like Six Nations teams, when they could be, have better stick handling and they're be more aggressive and they have more of the IQ. do you feel kind of like what's the word I want to use? Not necessarily out of your realm, but like how do you have to like adjust the way you're playing and be like, hey, I'm not gonna be able to beat him at this, so I'm gonna have to be just extra fast, or I'm just gonna have to be like what is it that you have to like bring up in your game in order to compete with them?
Mm-mm. Yeah, that's a good question because I'm just struggling for the like Six Nation Chiefs, playing the Senior B for the Six Nation Liberman. That is, like it's I still feel like they have a gap, like they're super high skill, but I'm just growing right now. So that's why every single day for I was watching for the like Chiefs game, Liberman's game, another like senior A, like professional guys game. Them, what is the difference between me and them? Then I was just trying to like an example like Lyle Thompson do some like blind shooting, but my blind shooting is not same for the Lyle Thompson. So that's why like they say that stick has eyes, but I know the stick has an eye, but how my body is like react for the like when I had the ball in the game situation, then the D guys like maybe Brad Curry is here, then do some like blind shoot, but Brad Curry's positioning is sometimes different. So that's why like try to the many like shooting like a situation, but many times different D guys different positioning. So that's why like makes try, but like how to say, just make the experience for my let's see, like try and error. Then I'm gonna get some like experience, then grow my lacrosse stick skills. So this is my like PDC, yeah, something like that. But I think my strongest point is it's I think they're and the hardest worker in the world. I believe that. So that's when every single day using my stick, then go to wall ball, lifting, practice myself, the shooting, wall ball, to watch the lacrosse game. This is my like what is it, lacrosse time. I think they're like number one in the world. So this is like catch up with them for as soon as possible. This is kind of my like strong point.
So Koich went to OCC and was their draw guy.
Okay.
Koich is an extremely talented draw man.
Yeah, I seen it on the IG. I seen you practicing on like every single like Instagram post there. So tell me about your Instagram. Tell me about all these sponsors. Tell me about how does it work? So you get sponsors and you come here and what is how does it work with all your sponsors? Because your Instagram is pretty popping. So tell us a little bit about that.
Okay, yeah. I mean, like my dream is still like to be a like fast Japanese lacrosse player, professional lacrosse player in the NLL. Then also like 2028 we have Olympic Games. For the style is a 60s game, so that's why I'm gonna make it like a guest for the Haudenosaunee American guys, like Canadian guys. Them beat them, they get some like hopefully gold medals against them. This is my dream, so that's why I'm just trying to get my dream for the like. But I have no money when I was dreaming. Then like how do I challenge to the North America? Then I was approaching to the almost like 4,000 companies in my life, like 6-7 years. Then I'm just presentation to them. Hey guys, I'm just trying to the North America for my dream. Then I'm just single mother. Then I have no lacrosse team in my college. Then I just make the lacrosse team here. Then but still try to my journey is not done yet. So that's why like I'm gonna do some like every single day for the practice. Then show them you guys like logos. Then whatever you want, I can do some like help for your business. Then do some like make the connection with them. Then after the like couple years, like okay, coach, go for it. I'm just supporting for you. Then just one company like the idols, they all this my sponsor company. Then another like media do like Weir Group, like Mega Holdings, Medical Net, or whatever like my many sponsor companies, sponsor people, they cheer me, they rooting for me. Then okay, coach, go for it, go your dream. Then your dream is if you make it, you can show to the another like like next generation to the, you can prove them, then you can make the like good cycle for the, you make the dream, then show the like children, then children make the dream, then you support them. This is kind of like good cycle for the in Japanese world, also like in the world. What about like they like
That's really cool. That's awesome. That that you were able to do that. That you were able to take your dream and say, hey, like you said, how many presentations? Like like that is dedication to a dream. Like you want to be a lacrosse player, but you're like, hey, I still have to work at other things in order to play lacrosse. So you went out there and you're like 4,000 meetings or presentations, whatever it may be. And then you finally got what you got, and now you're here. So look at now you're under these big lights.
Yeah.
You're here on Haudenosaunee territory. Like you're doing. Look at the shout out to your sponsors.
Yeah.
You are living your dream.
Yeah.
You are actually doing it. And I want to congratulate you because like that's a beautiful thing. That's what the power of lacrosse can do, and that's what the show's about, like the creator's game. And I just really want to champion that because a lot of people like don't understand that. Lacrosse is more than just a sport. Like lacrosse can bring a community together. Lacrosse can like bring people kind of from all different walks of life too, and build a whole new community. Because when they turn that arena lights on and everyone's screaming and cheering, listening to music and goal after goal, you become a community. You're gonna like. In a community, you're going to argue with your neighbor. And that's what we are. We're all neighbors, and we're all arguing. We're like, no, we want our team to win. We want your team to win, whatever it may be. But at the end of it, we're all going to, like, have a good time. And we're still going to be here next week. And we're going to fill out this arena. And, that's the beautiful thing about lacrosse. So, like, I want to, like, thank you for that. And also because we're going to be trying to fill the arena on, when is this going down? Friday night.
Rivermen playoff game number 1, round 1 against Owen Sound on Friday night. So tomorrow night. And we're at the ILA, change of venue, 8 p.m. Let's pack the barn.
Now, we're not done yet. We still have a whole bunch of questions. But I want to know, like, going forward, are you playing with Clearview or...
Just senior A for the Brampton Excelsiors right now.
Yeah, Kouchi made the jump to MSL.
Okay, so you're not going to be playing the Rivermen now.
Yes.
So you're going to be playing the Chiefs.
Oh yes.
Okay. So now that you're not playing with Clearview, how did they feel about playing like Six Nations? I want to get into the politics of the game. How did they feel about playing like the Rivermen? Like I just want to know. Like a lot of people watch this, and a lot of people say like Six Nations is too rough. Do you think Six Nations is too rough?
I mean, like, if like a Japanese guy coming here, then watch the Six Nation game. Oh, they're rough. They're like more like powerful, something like that. But I mean, I'm just in the game right now, so that's why it's kind of like this is like top level, regular, just like this is regular level. So that's why I didn't like surprise anymore. Like if Tyson Bell did some big hit, but this is regular. So that's why I don't like think like super rough. This is regular. So that's why I just like make more like level up for the this is regular. So that's why I'm just do hard hit, something like that.
Level up.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just gotta like stand your ground, man, and level up.
So to help Kouchi a little bit, in 2022 I coached in Clearview. Helped behind the scenes. Know the owner pretty good, Mitch. His name's Mitch. Shout out to Mitch and Clearview Crushers. Decent guy, good guy. They're still in their growing stages. They're only a few years old, and I don't know if it's fair because I don't think you're going to get the answer out of Kouchi that you would out of somebody that has played in the OLA their whole life, because they have a longer time to play against Six Nations and maybe get a hate on for it.
They've lost too many times, probably.
Well, it's
the grudge has been there for years, type of thing.
Maybe not necessarily against Clearview, but other centers, yeah. Like Clearview, we have good battles with them. Sometimes the score is a little lopsided. I know last year they played the Rivermen to a tie. It's good fast lacrosse. There's a lot of chirping going on the floor, a lot of stuff. But Kouchi's been around for how long you been around here?
I think this is my third year in Canada.
Yeah. So and I met Kouchi when he first got here at the ILA. He was just looking to get on the floor. Invited him on the floor. Yeah, come on out. He's practiced with us. He's practiced with many teams down here. He's tried out for many teams. I know a good friend of ours, Justin Beach. He's helped you.
Yeah.
Shout out to Justin Beach. He's currently coaching U15 Team Ontario field lacrosse. So yeah, Coach has been around. I don't know if it's Coach has a different opinion. In my opinion, he has a different opinion than somebody who has played against Six Nations their whole life.
Yeah, I feel that you have a more like, yeah, definitely an unbiased opinion because you're just here for like, yeah, the love of the game, like for the true purpose of just, hey, I'm just here to play. I just love to play. So how do you feel that the playoffs are gonna go? You know, are you excited for that?
Yes. We just played against for the Brooklyn Lacrosse Club for the senior last night. Then we lost, but I think that it's getting like closer than the gap for the like Brooklyn Six Nation Chiefs, then PW Lakers. They were like strong this year, but like Brampton, it's also like including me. I'm just running for every single game, so that's why like gap it's narrowing right now, but still I have a gap, so that's when I'm just to practice for the hard working right now. So like yeah, I'm just enjoying for the like.
I think this is Brampton's first year back in the MSL loop in quite a few years. There was that whole issue last year with Brampton and Owen Sound, and they're battling back and forth who gets to what team because there was one team was bought and moved, and then they were told you can't move them, they have to stay here. So there was all kinds of political stuff going on. Brampton is new again because they were a historic franchise for many years, and then they weren't there, and now they're back. So they're kind of rebuilding. But yeah, that's Chiefs get a round one bye, and everybody else has to play. And Coach is right; they're playing against Brooklyn. Brooklyn's pretty strong this year. They're finished in second place.
So being that they're kind of like a new team getting back into it, like what's the energy like in that arena when you play?
Yeah, like I like the playing the lacrosse in the many audience here. Then I didn't like get the experience in Japan. But like some guys, I mean, like some of their like audience in the Japanese like lacrosse game, but here is more like everybody's super excited. Just beat them, fight them. Wait, what?
Lacrosse fans over here are pretty frenzied.
Yeah. This is kind of like more like if I'm gonna play the IRA for the like I guess for the Six Nation Chiefs, play the PW Lakers like Memorial Arena, how many people in this arena?
Peterborough gets a few thousand each game.
Yeah.
They have a really big arena. Like I've been looking at like all their reels and stuff like that. They have Instagram of all the what they've been doing this season, and they have a lot of people that come out.
Yeah,
I didn't realize that.
I remember a few years back, our junior C team at the time was called the Warriors. We made it to the Ontario final against Peterborough. And the look on some of our players' faces, because for some of them it was their first time at the Peterborough Mem Center, and like they're walking in there in astonishment because they've never seen a building that big. And we're junior C, we didn't draw the crowd that the MSL or senior A Lakers draw, but just to walk in the historic building and you can feel the history. You walk in there and it's just like you can almost hear games from the past. You can hear those echoes in the hallway. It's an extraordinary place to play, and Coach has been on the floor and played there now, so he knows.
And then like what about the ILA? Is it like compared to Brampton, is the ILA kind of like what's the difference of the size arena?
The floor, Brampton has a small floor. But that they play out of that. That's an old barn. It's probably one of the very few remaining barns that still have wooden trusses. It's they've put turf in it over the last couple of years. It's a very historic building as well. There's been a lot. Brampton has won a lot of championships in that game in that arena. Then you go to the ILA. The floor surface itself is bigger. It holds a lot more fans. The fans are pretty rabid in Brampton as well. But at the ILA, there's more fans, and I think they're more rabid. Yeah.
So, like, now, earlier this week, you got to go on the phone with a journalist. Would you
Yeah.
care to tell us about that conversation? If not, we can edit it out if you don't.
I'm fine with it.
Okay, let's start from the beginning.
Okay.
So, I referred you to a journalist who was looking for an opinion about the Elora Mohawks putting a jersey in their was it their arena they wanted to put it?
I believe it was they renovated an arena, had taken all the banners, all the old jerseys, all the old championship banners down to do these renovations. And I could be wrong. Maybe it's a brand new arena. I haven't been in the building myself. They wanted to hang all the old Elora Mohawks jerseys, championship banners, all of their championship stuff from yesteryear, as they say. They wanted to hang them back up. I had heard very little of that over the last. I think they started over a year ago, maybe two, and I didn't really know the gist of it until you had referred this journalist to me. And basically what they want to do is, I guess, Elora City Council had to have several meetings over whether or not it would be okay to hang anything, namely these banners and stuff, that have the words Mohawks. Is it politically correct? I don't know. There's been several professional teams in several different sports that have changed their names, changed their logo, because there was a lot of indigenous people who were offended. I had the interview with this journalist. The long and short of it is, I said to this journalist, I've been a member as not only as a parent, but in the executive role with the Six Nations Rebels. So I've went there as a fan. I've went there as a parent. I've went there as an executive member to watch the Six Nations Rebels play the Elora Mohawks, their junior team. I mean, in the past, they were probably senior teams as well. And I've heard people say, we call ourselves Mohawks because we want to honor your culture. And it's an honor and no, it's not. My personal opinion, if you're going to say you're honoring my culture by chanting, "Let's go Mohawks," when literally the team that your Mohawks are playing against the team they're playing is probably 3/4 Mohawk. So if you're going to chant, "Let's go Mohawks," and then call our team and our fans wagon burners, dirty Indians, where's the honor and respect in that? And that's 2024 May long weekend. A couple of months back, I was in Elora at a Rebels game, and it's still going on as of May 2024. I've heard them say, well, why don't you go back to the res? Are these people even aware that 6 miles on either side of the Grand River, Elora falls in our territory still to this day? So I didn't want to open up that political can of worms. It was very short. My thoughts on it were, go ahead and hang the old banners up. I have no issue with you hanging the old banners up. But moving forward, let's look at, if that is offensive, why not change it? Their minor system, Center Wellington, minor lacrosse, ties in with Elora, Fergus, all of those centers up there. They have changed their name from Center Wellington Mohawks to, I believe it's the Center Wellington Riverhawks or something like that now. So why is the Elora Mohawks junior team hanging on to this so dearly? If you look at their logo, it's a caricature of a native person with a headdress on. That's not even ours.
Yeah, I seen that. It was the planes.
So to me, they're a little mixed up. They're calling themselves Mohawks. They have a caricature of a Native American a Plains nation, because we don't wear big headdresses. My thought: are they a little mixed up in who they actually want to be? Sure, they are.
Yeah, I feel like that's a common topic in like 2024 as everyone talks about what is reconciliation and how can we go forward and different things. And this is just another scenario of how this continues to happen throughout the world of just like, hey, we want to celebrate that we are the Elora Mohawks. However, are we going to really acknowledge that, hey, this was kind of wrong from the begin with? Because they're not even willing to do that. They had like a city council thing, and they're not going to do it now.
Yeah.
So it's like, hey, you voted on it in like city council, so they said no, but you still didn't acknowledge nothing yet. So it's like, okay,
on social
reconciliation,
media,
what?
On social media, a friend of mine commented, because I shared the story that city council voted no, they will not hang those banners, jerseys, etc. back up. A friend of mine, just when I was sitting in the parking lot here, when I got here, on social media said, I'll paraphrase, I won't quote the exact wording, but for all these years that the Elora Mohawks used the name of our people, should we be compensated for that?
Well, I don't know how much like the Elora Mohawks, like I don't know what that compensation would be. However, yeah, I see what you're saying.
So, food for thought, and for everybody watching, maybe you can throw Day a shout out on his IG page or on the comment on the YouTube. Should the Elora Mohawks compensate the Mohawk people who they're trying so very hard to still emulate?
Well, that's up for the people to decide.
Well, I mean, everybody has a stick, so I had to give in.
Yeah. Everyone brought our sticks for war.
See, Coach, when our children are born, we put a stick in with them when they're babies.
Okay.
They come in different. This is my grandson Russell's. My oldest grandson, he has a stick. It's a little bigger, maybe this big. My youngest grandson, who is not even a year old, he has one that's about this big. They were put in with them when they were born. And that's where it starts for us, at birth. Dea had mentioned before we come on the air, you have one when you're born, you were buried with one. So I have a stick at home that I'm going to be buried with whenever I pass away. So that's just a little bit of the cultural aspect for you. But you guys are sitting here showing off these sticks. I thought I better show mine off too.
Yeah, and speaking of these sticks, they are here for a purpose. This is my beautiful stick here. I'm gonna pass it around here. Check her out.
Oh.
So these sticks here are made by Delby Powless, and right here, right there, this was done by my uncle Bill. He is from Onondaga Nation, and what we're going to be doing is we're going to be having an online auction. It's going to be for this lacrosse stick here. There's nothing on this one. However, we can get it engraved with whatever that you would like. So if you want to get your name on it, if it's going to be a gift for a family member, if it's whatever that you would like on it, or if you don't want anything on it, you can still take a bid in the online auction. It's going to be available at www.beyondpride.com. And just remember, when you advertise with First Nations, make sure that you do it with pride. Now, let's get back into the show. What do you know about wooden lacrosse sticks?
Oh. Yeah, like when how to say, like when is my first time to using the when I was 2014, like in the Denver, I was in the like World Games for the like field lacrosse World Games. Then like Odin Shoni play using by wooden stick. Then like the guy using by huge wood stick. Then I think who's the used there? I didn't forget the who used.
Was it Sid? Sid Smith?
Oh yeah. Using my wood stick
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
Yeah, that was
Long hair?
Oh yes.
Yeah, that was most likely Sid.
Yeah, that is my first impression for the. I know the wood stick, but I don't know who using but in the game time for the wooden stick. So that's why this is super like impressive. Then I came here for the play, I guess, for the like Six Nation Chiefs, Lieberman guy, some guy using by the wooden stick. That hit is super.
He's probably talking about Rory.
I don't know if Rory played that. Maybe Mason Hill, Rivermen call up to the Chiefs. Shout out to Mace. He uses a wooden stick. He's played with the Chiefs.
That's super pain. even
So
like,
Yo, you got it chopped up by Mace, yo. That's awesome.
here's what's funny. It may not have been Mace. I don't know who else on the Chiefs uses a wooden stick. I remember Rory did play for the Chiefs a few years back, and he had a huge wooden stick. And Tim O'Brien was another monster that used a big wood round wooden stick. But I just want to touch on the game of lacrosse is a French word. The French saw the shape of the stick and named it that because it looked like what they call a bishop's staff. It's a long stick with a curved end. So a few years back, there was a commentator at the World Championships for lacrosse who said the wooden stick has no place in the game. Again, I'm paraphrasing. I can't remember the exact quote. To me, the comment was so irrelevant that I don't even remember the commentator's name. But for him to say...
Shots fired.
Yeah, definitely shots fired. For him to say the wooden stick has no place in the game is a slap in the face because the creator gave us this game. And the stick, the sport of lacrosse, is named after a French word used to describe the stick. So if you take the wooden stick out of the sport, you're essentially taking the name away from the sport. So the box game right now, the field game is probably about as close as you're going to get outside of our traditional medicine games. The box lacrosse game has been taken so far and distant from the way we originally played it. That wooden stick is all we really have left of our game. So when I see players using it, if you pay close attention, not many Haudenosaunee players use a wooden stick to injure. They use it because they know how to. They use it on defense. They use it on offense. They use it on transition. When you see players that are only bringing this wooden stick out in the third period to try to hurt you, one, almost every time they're not a Six Nations player. Two, if you watch them close, they have no idea how to use it. They just think it's a weapon. If they pick the ball up, they don't know what to do because they're not used to ball handling with a wooden stick. That's my take on things. So anyhow, Kouchi, sorry, back to your wooden stick. First time you saw it being used.
Yeah. Then like when I was in the OCC, then my friend, his name is Rich, he gave me the wooden stick. Then I gave to him for the Japanese lacrosse maker for the stick to him. Then just trade for the culture change.
Yeah.
That's bartering, man.
Yeah.
That's cool. I'm down with that.
Then especially like using by the wooden stick for the super heavy. So that's why after the season time using by the to get some GBs, do some wobble. Then after the using by the another my stick, it's easy.
Yeah.
Easy to make some GBs shooting.
Well, if you practice with one of those, you're building muscle faster than you would a stick from today.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's why I love to using by sometimes for the wood stick in my house or in my Japan. Everybody see, Coach, what do you have this? It's super heavy.
Now I have an interesting question for you. So you said you want to be in the Olympics, right?
Yep.
And you want to play for Japan.
Yep.
So that would mean you'd have to play the Haudenosaunee Nationals.
Possibly. You might possibly end up playing against Team Haudenosaunee.
I guess yeah. This is my dream.
He's just like, yeah, I don't know how that's gonna go, but this is my dream.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like in the OCC, like Austin Stats, like many like good player, like former OCC players, like Randy Stats, Corey Jameson, Riley Thompson, everybody, from the like Onondaga Nation or like Six Nations, like around this territory here. So that's why I know the many of the friends from the Haudenosaunee Nationals players, or I mean, not national players, just everybody, my friends from the like around here, they in the 2020 or 2028 or for the Olympic Games, if I'm gonna make it to the Japanese national team, then play against them. This is my like super dream is here, because like they're like from the creators from the here. Then I just studied pro lacrosse in Japan. Then like all over the world coming here, then just match up with them. So this is super like nice story.
Yeah, that would be legendary. Like that'd be like a for like a photographer, for like you to walk across like at the end of the game and shake hands with like a Haudenosaunee player from the Haudenosaunee Nationals and be like, "Hey, friend," because like you're friends with them, right? You know these people, and it's like that's nation to nation, international connection right there over this beautiful sport. Like that's a story right there.
For sure.
You got to do that.
Yeah,
You better do that. Those sponsors better give you some more, because you got a goal to finish, man. And I think you're gonna get to that. Like that would be quite the story. So let's get into the playoffs. What do you see for the Rivermen coming up, and also the Chiefs? The Warriors, my beautiful Can-Am Grand River Warriors, are out. However, next year we will be back and we'll be stronger than ever. And they're actually going to be coming on the show. We're going to have all the Grand River Warriors on during one episode. So that will be quite an episode. Unfortunately, you won't be here for this one.
I was going to say, so either A, I stay home, or B, I don't wear Rivermen gear.
Yeah, you can just stay home. It'll literally be a whole bunch of Grand River Warriors here just being like, yeah, man. They'll tell you a little bit of behind the scenes of what's going on with that Can-Am League, but
I'm aware.
Yeah, I'll leave that for them, because
yeah, for sure.
I'll just sit back and be like, you guys tell what you guys seen and how it works.
For sure.
But so, playoffs, Chiefs, Rivermen, let's go.
Okay. Again, Chiefs finished first. They got a bye. First round bye. So quarterfinals are going on right now with everybody else in MSL playing. Chiefs are sitting back waiting to see who they play. They don't have to play till the next round. It's probably a good time for them to rest. They might be doing some team bonding. I know a lot of the guys play golf. You see them on their Instagram pages and stuff, and they're out there having a good time. I know some of them are back home wherever they're from, and they're hanging out. They're doing whatever they're doing, but they're getting ready. I know they're getting ready because they want to host the Man Cup. Winner of Ontario hosts the Man Cup. I'm very confident the Man Cup will be played at the ILA. I do want to touch on the Arrows just a bit, just for maybe 2 sentences.
They are playing tonight.
They are playing tonight, and a couple episodes ago, you asked me for a prediction, and I was wrong.
What was the prediction again?
I predicted Toronto Beaches by 2. Arrows actually beat them in overtime that night. And
who was number 93? He was killing it the game we were watching.
Who was? I don't know his name, but he was killing. I think he had 3 for sure.
I thought you said you knew who he was.
No, I didn't know who he was.
Oh, I know. 93
the
of
guy on the other side. He said he knew who he was.
93 of the Arrows. Whoever you are, you can come on the show. We can talk about it. That's a good player right there.
And there was a lot had happened with the Arrows. A few weeks ago, they didn't look like they were making the playoffs. Some players left. Some players left the team, reclassified to Junior B, and went elsewhere. Thunder Hill traded to St. Catharines, which St. Catharines beat Burlington last night, beat them out of round 1, 7-5, I believe the game was. 1 goal was empty net. The other 6, Thunder had 5 and assisted on the 6th one. So, I mean, the Arrows back then, a few weeks ago, they were on the outside looking in. They got into the playoffs. now they're on the verge of eliminating Peterborough. And there was a whole other discussion about that because they got called for too many men.
I seen that. I seen what was it? Delby Jr.
Yeah.
He shared the actual I think it was video of it.
The actual footage of it, there was only 5 guys on the floor from what I saw. They got called for too many men and were awarded a penalty shot. Peterborough scored on the penalty shot. I didn't actually see the whole thing, so my thoughts are win it at home. That's tonight. But back to playoffs. Chiefs, they're going to run through everybody. No offense, Coach. Chiefs are going to run through everybody. I think we all know that, though.
He's like,
Rivermen, we've had quite the season. We finished first, Brooklyn second, Hamilton third, Owen Sound fourth. Only 4 teams make the playoffs in Senior B. We have Owen Sound tomorrow night, Friday night, 8 p.m. ILA. Get there early to get a seat. In the famous words of Ray Miracle, rest in peace, Ray. Get there early to get a seat, but you'll only need the edge. We are back in Owen Sound on Sunday, and then resume next weekend on Friday night again. Owen Sound's tough. They're gritty. They like to get in your face. It's a good rivalry to have. The Owen Sound and the Rivermen have been battling for 10 years. In the other bracket, Hamilton and Brooklyn, that is going to be a gritty, tough series. I'm hoping it goes 5 games because they're both tough to play against. Those 2 teams have handed us our only 2 losses all year. Hamilton beat us, Brooklyn beat us. To sit back and watch them hopefully brutalize each other for 5 games, that's icing on the cake for us because we get the winner and they're potentially going to come into the final round limping. But we got to get there first.
so, do you see anyone giving like the Chiefs a run for their money? Like, do you think it's going to be an exciting playoffs at least? Because as a fan, you still want to see a game.
True.
You still want to see a game.
Blowouts are boring.
Yeah.
They are. Do I see anybody in the OLA, in MSL, giving the Chiefs a good go? My personal opinion, nobody's going to get within 5 goals of them. If we see a good game where it's only 1 or 2 goal spread, great. But I don't see anybody getting that close to them. Man Cup might be a different story. There might be a little better competition coming from the West, but I don't see the Chiefs losing the Man Cup either. Not with the roster they have. That is like an NLL All-Star team. And who's going to beat them, honestly?
Yeah, like it's like it's one of those. I don't even know how to describe this right now. Like, I still like like I'm one of those guys who, even though I'm from Six Nations, I could go to a lacrosse game that Six Nations is playing and still kind of cheer for the other team just because I just want to see a good game. I just want to see a good game. That's all I want to see. Like, if the other team wins, hey, cool. If Six Nations wins, hey, cool. But I just want to see a good game.
After a while, you do kind of like, come on, guys, just score 1.
Yeah,
I get you. There's, like I said, again, Brampton, they're growing, they're learning, they're going through the growing stages. Chiefs play Brampton. I didn't get to see any of the games this year. If it comes about that you end up facing them in the playoffs, I will go and I'll make sure I'm cheering for you, Coach.
Oh, there we go.
I will. I'll cheer for you. Now, I don't know if I'll cheer for Brampton, but I'll cheer for you.
Thanks.
So how excited are you for the playoffs? Like, I feel like I've asked you this already, but like, is this your first year in MSL?
Yes. I think that last year I just played 2 games. Then this is my second year for the Senior A, but more like good play time right now.
Okay, and you're still like doing the face-offs and everything, right? Doing the draw.
Yeah.
Or do you kind of have to transition with someone else?
Yeah, do some like righty offense right now. Then play against for the Brad Cree, Tyson Bell, some like big D guy right now. So I'm just struggling for the how I beat them.
Yeah, those that would be a struggle. How do you beat Tyson Bell and Brad Cree? Yeah, because Coach out, he is righty offense. So that's who we would be lining up against. If he come down on offense and Chiefs are on defense, that's who we'd be running into.
What does when you go up to do a job and do a face off and stuff like that? What's something someone would try to chirp you? I feel like that's like the perfect place, like right at the face off, like, hey bud, you ain't got shit, like something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, like what is it? Jeremy Thompson.
What did he say?
Jeremy. No. He's like super like what is it? Quick man. So that's when I'm just usually what is it? React for the like quick reaction. But I don't know, like Jeremy Thompson or like another like hold and show face-off player, like they like how do you react for like so quick reaction? This is like chippy. Like
your focus needs more focus.
yeah. Focus. I just focus for the like quick reaction. But they know when its hoist is blowing. They know. How did you make it? This is like like my like lacrosse career just 10 years, but Jeremy Thompson takes some like 20 30 years, is right?
Mm-hmm.
This is like maybe huge difference between me and them.
That's hilarious. I thought I was gonna say, like, what did he say to you at the, like taking a draw? I feel like he wouldn't say like too much.
No, Jeremy's a pretty cool guy. He wouldn't say much.
Yeah.
He would show you. He wasn't gonna chirp. He'll just show you.
Yeah,
And by the sounds of it, he showed Coach.
Yeah,
Definitely did.
Yeah.
This episode is brought to you by Beyond Pride. When you advertise with First Nations, make sure you advertise with pride. That's www.beyondpride.com. Pride spelled PRYDE.com.
All right, guys, we're back, and like we said, we have a special edition of the Creators Game podcast. We have another guest. We have Delby Powless. How are you feeling today?
Oh, not too bad. Getting old, fat, lazy. Other than that, not too bad.
Looking great.
Oh, thank you.
So tell
Turn me
us.
inside out.
I want to get to the very, very beginning. When was the very first time that you picked up a lacrosse stick? Because now you are making lacrosse sticks.
When I was probably about 5, I started messing around with lacrosse sticks. My brothers wouldn't let me use theirs. I was too young. But I would grab them every now and again. When probably closer to 3 when I was taking their stick when they didn't know it. But I started playing when I was 6. That's when we had the lacrosse team down here, and we played out of the box down at Seneca Longhouse. And that's where I met guys like Kenny Hill, Mike Baumberry, Rod Baumberry, all of them. The guys that played, Benny Thomas, Mike Thomas, guys like that. And that's when we were 6 years old. We all start playing together.
So, like back then, was there even leagues, or was it just like you said at the Longhouse? That was your boys, that was your friends.
There was a league. It just kind of started out. We never had our own arena. That's why we practiced at Seneca Longhouse. Albert Smoke was my first coach. Eugene General, Howard General, his dad. They were helping. Eugene was playing. He was our goalie. But we would have to, if we wanted to play in the arena, we had to go to either Waterford or Hagersville, Caledonia, the surrounding area, because we never had our own arena here till 1974.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah. So the first bunch of years that I played, that's what we were kind of bouncing all over. We never really had a home arena. But we made do with what we could do, and sometimes when time was taken up, we'd have to go over there, even with hockey, at 6 a.m. at these arenas, or be late at night. That's the only time that we were able to get. So we took whatever we could get back then. Then when our arena came along, that made a real big difference. There's so many guys, made so many friendships over playing together. Before, there used to be always kind of teams, what they called down below, and upper enders and stuff, and there was always this rivalry. But when the arena was built, I think that helped to get rid of that stigma of upper ender, down below, because we all played together. We played hockey together, we played lacrosse together. We played baseball together. You know, we made a lot of friends just through playing lacrosse and sports.
And by the arena, are you referring to the Gaylord Powless Arena?
Yeah, the Gaylord Powless Arena. Was the original arena here. But you know, now we have the ILA that Kurt and I built, and I remember when we were building it, and Kurt and I were sitting up in where the banquet hall is, but there was no glass. We were on the cement floor up the top there, the core slab. They were doing the floor, getting it ready to pour the concrete for the floor. And Kurt and I were sitting there on the chair, and that's what we said. I'd like to see 10 years from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, how many more championships we will have in years to come. How many guys are we going to have playing in the NLL? Because at the time, I think we had maybe 7 or 8 playing in the NLL. Mm-hmm. And now I wouldn't even be able to tell you how many guys have played in the NLL and how many guys have excelled in the NLL that came through our arena.
Well, go ahead.
You look at the banners. We have so many banners up in the arena there. When they take the videos on the TV and stuff, you look and you see all the banners. And, you know, stuff like that, that's the kind of stuff we were hoping for. And it turned out that with our guys being able to play all year round, you know, their stick skills, their conditioning have gotten so much better. Years ago, we couldn't get into our arena to play lacrosse until after, like April, they would take the ice out after the skating carnival. All these other teams, they got so many arenas, and they're got their guys out there practicing late February, March, April. Mm-hmm. So it took us half the season to get caught up, and then come playoff time, we were right there with them. So now, with us having the arena and being able to play all year round, we're almost ahead of them. And we look at all the championships, I feel that we are the capital of lacrosse.
Yeah, we're definitely like the mecca of lacrosse. And when you look at like you said, like all those banners up there, does any one banner stand out to you, or like one championship being like, oh, I just that year was the one?
Well, when we built the arena, we had the sod turning 2003 on Father's Day. We had the first game in there 2004 on Father's Day, and that's when the Arrows, they had gotten skunked the year before, so they asked Randy Chrysler, myself, Jason Johnson, if we would coach the Arrows. So, and they had said in the meeting when we first talked, they said, well, I know this is going to be a building year, so, you know, we're going to work away, see what we can do to better it. And that's, I said, whoa. I said, if you're using this for a building year, then you don't need me here. Because if I'm going to be here, I want to win. I want to win the championship. And it kind of surprised some of the management that I would say that. And I said it because I meant it. And that year, 2004, we did win the Ontarios. Mm-hmm. So that banner up there, to me, you know, it makes me feel good. That's kind of a special one for me, the Ontario. We end up in the Minto Cup out west, but due to injuries like Cody Jamieson, he got hurt and he wasn't able to play in the finals, and we had a few other injuries and stuff. We didn't win the Minto Cup, but we were right there.
Yeah, I remember that because I was one of those kids who actually was watching it in 2004, and I remember you guys all met up at the Speedway when you came back. Was that the year?
I can't even remember. No.
It was at the Speedway after you guys had won the Minto Cup or were going to the Minto Cup or something.
Oh,
and I believe that was the year because me and Warren used to always kind of talk about it.
Oh yeah. That year we didn't win it. We ended up getting beat out in BC, but the next year That's when I think when they ended up when it was it 2005 or six they ended up winning. I didn't coach the next year because being a coach, you want your players there all the time. That's don't miss practice, don't miss games, be there all the time. And for me, I was coaching the Arrows, and I made sure I was there all the time. And my sons were playing in the playoffs. They were still playing senior, so my sons are playing in one of their championship games out in Peterborough or Brampton or somewhere. And here I'm at an Arrows lacrosse practice because we've ground it into their heads to don't miss. So for me to miss and go to that game, it was hard because my heart was one place and my body was another. My heart was out there, but I had to be at Arrows practice. So that's when I made the decision that, I didn't want to coach next year. I love watching my kids play, my boys and grandkids, and that's my life, watching them play. I'm done.
Well, that's what it's. I read it's been about 5 years ago that per capita, Six Nations puts out the most pro athletes, and that's just strictly lacrosse. So kudos to you guys putting that building up, because you guys have put us on the map, not only literally, figuratively. Per capita, we put out the most pro athletes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Kurt's got a lot to do with that for sure.
Oh yeah,
Kurt,
yeah.
You got to give him all the pats on the backs that you can, because without Kurt, I was partners with him, but without Kurt, we wouldn't lacrosse wouldn't be where it is today. On the reserve here.
Mm-hmm.
He not just here, but like what he's doing in the NLL with Halifax, with what he did with Rochester, those kind of things.
Yeah.
You got to give credit where credit is due, and I think Kurt, his heart is in lacrosse, and I think that's one of the best things that ever happened down here.
Yeah, in Rochester, he literally turned that franchise overnight. Literally, he turned them into champions.
Yeah.
And moving them to Halifax, like the Halifax fans they're insane.
Yeah.
They love the team. I haven't been to a game out there, but I'm told like it's quite the place. The place is rocking when they're playing at home.
I've only seen like pictures and stuff, but like that arena looks beautiful and looks huge, and all the fans, the energy, it looks crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So for me, that's what I say. I like to give credit where credit is due, and I think Kurt has done so much for lacrosse down here. I know I had Tom Suckamore and Jack Hill and Buck Smith come to the arena when we were building it, and they wanted to nominate me for that Hall of Fame, and I said I didn't feel like I was worthy of going into the Hall of Fame because I didn't win nothing. I came second so many times, like come second in the scoring, come second in our team. We never won the actual championship, any of the teams that I was on. So I didn't feel worthy of going into Hall of Fame. They said, well, what about as a builder because of the arena and stuff? I said, I would go in there if Kurt goes in with me. But other than that, I said, no, I wouldn't go in. I don't feel like I deserve to be in the Hall of Fame. So I never looked into it anymore. And I know they told me go to Brantford, go to the library, they'll have all your clippings and stuff like that of when you played and stuff. I said, if I deserve to be in the Hall of Fame, I think they would have all of that stuff. So for me, I didn't feel that I should be in the Hall of Fame.
You are pretty legendary, man. Like, I just gotta tell you, you are pretty legendary. Coming from someone like, a totally different generation. Like, I can tell you that there there are still even a younger generation than me to look up to you and be like, oh, like this like people still be like, this is the Delby Dome.
Oh, I got in trouble over that. When George Beaver put that article in the paper and he called it the Delby Dome, and oh man, this. And then I had a lady come to me. Why are they calling it a Delby? I thought, I can't control what George puts in his papers and stuff. You know, but I said, we can call it Kurt's Castle. That'd be fine with me. Don't matter. But, like, for me, the Iroquois Lacrosse Arena, it's for the people. You know, there's other things that we could have probably done with our money and stuff rather than build a lacrosse arena, but that's where my heart was. You know, I'd rather have the arena and help, you know, the community, because it was so hard with just the Gaylord Powless Arena available to us. You know, we'd have to go to Hagersville, Waterford, Simcoe, Caledonia, you know, looking for floor time. So that's why I wanted to build the arena. When we first started, actually my wife and I went out to Oakville to watch the first girls box team. And Charlie Wayne's daughter Carrie was playing on there, so we went out there and watched. And it was a snowstorm that night, and there was about 350 people went out there, and they had to pay $480 for 2 hours to play out there. So that's on the way home. I said to my wife, I said, we need a lacrosse arena. I said, look at all the people come out here to watch in a snowstorm. I says, we need a lacrosse arena. I said, heck, I should build one. She said, go ahead.
Go ahead, innit?
And usually you kind of think I was thinking she's going to say, yeah, right, sure, kind of thing. But, you know, she told me go ahead. So that's what got me started. And then I ended up partnering up with Kurt, and that made the process go so much quicker than what it probably would have if I would have tried to do it on my own.
Yeah, and the ILA does bring so much talent here. Like, of course, it is a hub. It is like we're in the mecca of lacrosse here on Six Nations, and it's a hub for a lot of talent. But it also brings a lot of talent here from other places. Like, for example, this young man here, he come here from Japan to learn lacrosse. So, like, who are some of like the legendary people who have actually like stepped foot in the ILA?
You know, I think about the question that who's the best lacrosse player you ever played against, and the first one comes to mind for me, Jeff Gill. Mm-hmm. He's from Cattaraugus, out Newtown there. Hands down, he's best player I ever played against. Another one, Boss Bucktooth, Freeman Bucktooth. Those guys were awesome. Like they play both ways. They're team leaders. We had a lot of good players down here. You know, I could go through a list. I could start off with Tim Squires, Jim Squires, Bill Squires, Boss Squires, Roy. I could go Daryl Squires. He's one of the better ones that I ever played with was Daryl. Look at George Atkins, Kenny Hill, Dan Logan, you know, guys like that, defensive guys, Mike Bomberry, Con Smith, Kim Smith, Jay's relatives down the line there. Scott, he was a good lacrosse player. We played on the Warriors together, all solid players. Kevin Henhock, probably one of the hardest shots around. Brian Martin, you know, I think back, Evan Thomas, you know, Evan, that guy when he was young, and he was probably one of the best around for years. You know, Evan, you know, to look at him nowadays, you know, he looks kind of funny, but it's probably him calling me right now.
Evan, I consider Evan a friend of mine, and I had the honor and privilege of inducting him into the Hall of Fame when he got the call to go in, and I said to him, Evan, you've played with so many great players, and you have so many teammates and friends that are still here. Why did you choose me? And the answer he gave me, I didn't see it. I didn't see it. I've put in a number of years into this game. I remember coaching the Winter League program at the ILA for the first 10 years that the arena was open. But what Evan said to me, and to this day, it chokes me up, because I like yourself, you like watching your kids. Sometimes you end up coaching them. That's what gets you involved. And he told me, because I see that you have the love for the sport. And I mean, we had a blast.
Oh, here, I thought you were going to say you're one of Evan's kids.
Oh, that.
I thought, no, not him.
Too.
That too, yeah.
No, Evan's a good guy.
Oh,
I know how close
unbelievable.
that Delby and Evan are, and I see them commenting back and forth on social media, and I sit back and just laugh. I can only imagine what it's like to be on a car ride with you guys.
Oh, we go moose hunting every year, and I look forward to that. There's roughly 70 days, but more exactly 70 days till we go moose hunting again. And Evan and I have been moose hunting for years, and he rides with me up there. And we take my trailer, and Josh and Bob and Evan and Preston and I stay in the trailer. And, you know, we just laugh the whole time. All the guys, like guys that we hunt with, Ryan and Shog and Gussie, guys from a couple other reserves that go up there with us. We have a gay old time. We all love moose hunting. And that time to get away, that's kind of what I miss about not playing lacrosse, is that friendship and sitting around teasing each other and stuff like that. That's the part that I missed. Not only that, I used to play because I could shower, because when we were young we didn't have running water.
Yeah, that's a good reason to go there, right? It's
Yeah,
like,
so-
there's a shower there right after.
Yeah, a lot of us, we weren't rich, we didn't have money, our families didn't have money. So to go to the arena and be able to shower, that was a bonus.
Man, I had people on my lacrosse team like doing that too. Just being like, it'd be their moms telling them, it'd be like, you better get in there and shower because there ain't nothing at home for you.
Yeah.
I don't know why guys got afraid to shower when I was go in there. I'm not sure. I think Gaylord started that. I wouldn't want to get into that.
It's another podcast.
I say, do we really want to know?
Yeah, that's another podcast. So like, seeing that like you're right in front of the ILA, and like you've known like so many people in lacrosse. Who's someone who stops by, who just talks lacrosse, and that you'll get into it with, and like what do you guys talk about? Like I feel like that would be a good conversation. Like like kind of how we just had there. You talk about like back in the day and in Gaylord and stuff like that.
Yeah, Evan. Him and I sit and shoot the breeze for hours. Evan Thomas with like his brother Jeff, his dad Seymour. He coached us coached me when I was younger, and just to think about guys like that and talk about guys like that. Brian Martin. He was one of the best shots that I ever played lacrosse with. I could play on the crease, and he'd pick the goalie apart, and then the goalie keep moving out. So then he'd start giving it to me on the crease. I'd just shoot it in the empty net.
Had a whole thing going on there. Eh?
Oh yeah, George Atkins. That was like a wand he had in his hand. George, there could be four guys fighting in the corner for the ball, and George would go up there and snap it out and come out with the ball. And then when you got guys on your team like that and able to do things with their stick that nobody else could do, it makes you that much better too, and try to be up into their caliber. I was thinking today about some of the guys that I wish could have kept on playing. I think one of the guys that probably would have been a superstar would probably be Steve Bomberry. He ended up passing away when he was young. Mike Thomas. There was a guy who was a wizard with his stick, just like his dad was. I never got to play with Ivan and them. That was more Evan got to play with them guys. But I got to play with Gaylord and old timers, and even playing old timers, he still had it. It made it fun to see. And I know a big part of my game was a backhand. I pass backhand, I shoot backhand. When I was about 12 years old, I was over at Uncle Ross's, and Gaylord was out there shooting at a board, and I had holes in there. Here, he put 8 out of 10 in on the backhand from way outside. It wasn't right close. It was from way outside. Like, he knew where it was going. He showed me. He said, get your elbow up. You know, when you're throwing, you got your elbow up. When you're doing it behind your back, same thing. And you get more accurate. Like, I see a lot of guys today, you know, kind of going like this and stuff. But, you know, and ever since that day over at Uncle Ross's, when he showed me that, I worked on it all the time, throwing it against the glass, throwing it against the boards, you know, stuff like that. Trying to do things that I thought that others wouldn't be able to do. And one of the guys that showed me something just playing in the yard, George Bomberry, down at Joe Johnson's. We used to play down there, Joe and Dip, Junker, a bunch of us. We all used to gather down there and play lacrosse, and we'd have dirt all the way up our pant legs, you know, just out there doing things with our sticks and trying things, because it didn't matter if it didn't work.
Mm-hmm.
If it didn't work, don't use it in the game. But then some things that George Bomberry showed me, he faked the backhand and then he backhanded it low. And I kept trying it. Finally, when I went to play in the organized, I was doing it, and I was scoring. So, you know, that was a big part of my game, was a backhand.
Yeah, that's what Kouchi was talking about. How like he was saying that like it's kind of like the difference between playing with you know like in Japan, I guess, like the caliber of all playing and like the IQ, sport IQ, lacrosse IQ, and then of course the stick handling was just that they didn't really know about like behind the back and stuff like that.
I remember when in the Worlds, it was in London, the summer games and stuff, and Team Canada was playing against Japan. And Steve Toll at the time was one of the fastest guys. He got a breakaway, nobody was catching him. When he got a breakaway, and he was probably 20 feet ahead of them guys, and there was 2 guys on the Japan team that caught up to him, everybody's like, whoa. I said, you can't imagine what these guys are going to be like when they get their stick skills down, because at that time, that was back in probably 2000 or so.
Was it?
Because I know
Yeah,
Delby was
2000.
midget at the time. So
Yeah.
it was back around in there. I guess it'd be back in the 90s, 95 maybe, 96.
Have to look it up. Koichi's nodding. He probably knows.
Yeah,
95.
yeah. I watched them out there in Japan. They really impressed me with their conditioning and stuff. And as I said, years to come, they're going to be a force to be reckoned with, because they start to get their stick skills and start working on plays and stuff, which, you know, they had some, but they didn't have the caliber like Canada or U.S. or Iroquois Nationals. But Japan was right there with Australia and stuff, so I knew it was coming.
Yeah, especially the work ethic.
Oh,
Like I feel like if you can just use like lacrosse, like we've been saying this episode, use lacrosse, like the work ethic and everything that you learn like on the bench and on the floor, and actually use it in life, like they'll just coexist with each other, and they'll actually like work good. So like if you think of like Japan, like I know that you train all the time. Like you go on this guy's Instagram, this guy like, don't you have your own like pop up lacrosse net or something?
Oh yeah, like
Koichi has showed up to the arena for warm up before the games. We usually have an hour and a half, 2 hours before each game for warm up. Koichi's out there with his inflatable goalie, shooting on the net by himself. He brings an inflatable goalie with him.
yeah, 3 hours before.
Patches. That's another story.
Evan Thomas can tell you about that.
That's Ev's story.
But yeah,
take
with
that away from him.
But yeah, with that kind of drive of like, you know, bringing something like that 3 hours before the game, if like every player like that was in Japan, they'd be like a force to be reckoned with.
Oh yeah, you know, that was something. I like to think that when we were young, we were good players. We had good stick skills, but we didn't have the conditioning nowhere near what the guys have today. You know, and then Japan, for instance, you know, teams like that, that's where we had a hard time because like floor time was one thing, doing things on your own. And I remember Uncle Ross telling me he used to run from one telephone pole to the next hard as he could down the road, and then he'd jog to the next one, and then hard as he could to the next pole, and then jog to the next one. And he says that's what you're doing on the floor. Some of these guys that are running 5 miles a night, they're just pounding away on their joints. They're not, and then come game time, they got to do a sprint and they're done.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so conditioning for us, that's where I started to do that when I think I was probably about 14, 15 when Uncle Ross told me about that. So that's when I started doing, and it sure helped my game a lot as far as conditioning.
Who would you say are some of the players like right now? Like, because of course, like the Arrows are playing tonight. So let's talk about the Arrows. Like, who are some of the players on the Arrows that that you're excited to see play?
One of the ones that Rory Smith, actually Rory's boy, Kalen, he plays on junior Bs, but when he comes up, I love watching that guy play. Like, he's the captain for, what's that, Wallaceburg?
Wallaceburg.
Yeah, but to watch him, he's awesome. A lot of the Arrows guys that are playing on there now, I don't know them by name. I know them by their numbers and stuff, and I know who can do what.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But as far as I got to ask them, who's your grandparents? I can't ask them who's your parents. A lot of them I don't even know their parents because I'm an old timer. But yeah, the conditioning and guys that they have out there now, it's unbelievable.
Have you ever seen like a player on the floor and then being like, who's his grandparents or who's his parents, and then being like, oh, it makes sense?
Oh yeah, that Powless. I remember watching even Johnny and then his brother.
Yeah.
Watching who's their and then they say Joe. Joe Powless. He was another one when we played. He was always. He's a very talented player. He was always in shape, and he was a team leader. He played on. I played lacrosse on teams with him in minor, and then we got into senior and stuff. And Joe was always one of the top players in the league. A lot of times we didn't play on the same team. Sometimes he played on Caledonia. I played on the Wolves or the Warriors and stuff, but. It seemed like we all kind of got split up to where the talent got split up and filtered, watered down kind of thing. Whereas if we could have just all stayed together and got one good team, I think we probably would have had a lot of championships. But that didn't happen, so that's history.
Delby's referring to Marshall.
I was gonna say that,
Yeah.
and when you said that, like how like his dad was like a leader, because like if we're talking about it would be Marshall's dad, right?
Yeah.
I said the same thing to Marshall because I noticed that when he was helping out with like the Grand River Warriors, I was just like, he's young. However, when he steps on that floor, everyone looks at him like, hey, he's a leader. Like it doesn't matter how old he was, or it didn't even matter that he was like an NL player. Like everybody knew that like he is an NL player and he is good, but it was the mentality of like, nope, we're here to do work.
Yeah.
Like, let's go, boys. Let's go. Come on, man.
Yeah.
Like let's actually put our best foot forward. And that's what a lot of teams need is they need leaders in this whole community. That's what we need is leaders in this community.
And that was one of the things, even when we were coaching the Arrows. We had Stu Montour was our captain, and that's he said, guys, 20 nights. We got 20 games, 20 nights. You stay in. You don't go out boozing or nothing. Be ready for the games. We had practice on Sunday mornings to see who was going to give us 100%. And a lot of the guys, we didn't discriminate from anybody. If you weren't ready to play, you didn't play that night. If we had practice at 10 o'clock, you're on the floor ready to go at 10 o'clock. You're not pulling in the laneway. You're not walking in the dressing room. You're on the floor at 10 o'clock ready to go because we're going to be doing the drills and stuff. Some guys tested us, and they ended up sitting out. Randy and Jason and I, we stuck together, and that's what we didn't care who it was. You know, that discipline had to be there. We're here. Why can't you guys be here? And like they say, that's 20 nights.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you got 20 games, that's 20 nights. You stay in, you give 100% to the team.
See, I never had that problem because I was always on time for practice because like my stepdad was kind of like he was like the coach, so he would always have me there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, shout out to Neil Hannock. He was kind of like a stepdad to me,
Yeah.
and like he basically taught me what I know about lacrosse,
Yeah. Oh.
and yeah, I would always be on time though. But like that's a part of the discipline of the sport, and I feel like if we got back to stuff like that, like how you said, 20 days, no going out, be at practice, be prepared, be here, be present. Like I feel that like if a whole team took that mentality and actually like kept that going as like that brotherhood of like no come on man, like I know you want to go, all the boys are all bugging you or whatever, but no we got practice tomorrow, no we got a game, or remember we said 20 days, like that's brotherhood, that's something strong that like can, again, what you learn on the bench and on the floor, you can use it in real life, and that will just get players to a better life in general, just like, just staying on the red road and different things like that.
Yeah. There's times when you're coaching and you look at your players and you can tell which ones are doing things on their own. Guys are coming to practice and working hard at practice, but the days that we're not at practice, you can tell the guys that are out running on their own, that are going to the gym, working out on their own, and it makes the game seem easy to them. When you see them, running with no effort and just working on the plays and thinking about that rather than huffing and puffing and trying to get to a certain area that they're supposed to be at. Whereas, other guys, it's almost like they're floating out there.
Yeah, and it can even be like I remember always hearing this like, oh, would you just pick up your stick today, or like, oh, did you forget how to pass? You forget how to catch? Things like that, and it's probably because you're not practicing outside. You're not actually like playing lacrosse outside of this arena. You like pick up your stick once in a while, throw it at the wall, play catch. What did you forget? Like, right?
I don't.
Kouchi, how often are you playing wall ball?
Like every single day.
He is. He's in the gym every day. His stick doesn't leave his hand.
Yeah, that's awesome. One of the things that Uncle Ross taught me, when you're not playing, like your stick means everything to us. And when I'm done playing, I would stuff my stick with newspaper. He said that helps hold the pocket, and then the dampness will go to the newspaper rather than get into your leather. And it seems like the stick lasts a lot longer when you take care of it. I've gone to guys' houses and their sticks and equipment been out on the porch all night. I think, oh man, there's no way I would ever leave my stick outside like that. And you see kids leaving them laying in the yard, 3 or 4 sticks laying there. Back when we were young, we were lucky to have one. Mm-hmm. And when you got that one stick, you took care of it. That's why my brothers, as I say, when I was young, I wasn't allowed to take their sticks. But when I was probably 3, 4, that's when I was grabbing it. And then when I got older, and then I went down Dad took me down to Mel Squires and got one of my first sticks, or it was my first stick from Mel. I always liked Mel's sticks. I got pretty close with their family, and when I was playing one time, and here I had went to a tournament, and I bought 2 Patterson sticks for my boys, and they were good sticks. And here I broke one during the game, so I grabbed my other son's. So here I broke that too. I broke 2 sticks in one game, and Mel said, "I'll make you one you won't break." And he made it, and I had a big handle almost pretty close to this on the end, but it was narrower down here. And I would sit there with a glass and shave it down, get it nice and round and stuff. And I took care of that stick, and Kay would net it for me every year. Mm-hmm. Kay would net them, and here after a while, like Mel, they wouldn't charge me for my sticks and stuff. And So here, when Kay passed away, Mel asked me if I'd be a pallbearer, Bill, and so it'd be an honor. So I was a pallbearer, and that's what Mel told me that, George and I, George Atkins, we were pallbearers, and he said we were Kay's favorites. So, yeah, it was an honor to be a pallbearer for Kay. She was such a sweet lady. You don't see them like that much anymore. Especially she, took care of us as lacrosse players, bringing us sandwiches on the bus and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I never got to play with Jim. I was talking with Evan Thomas, and he said probably one of the best players he ever seen was Jim. I seen Jim play, but I never got a chance to play with him. I was too young. Evan got the chance to play with him. Another one he said was Claude Salt had one of the hardest shots around. Me, I think Brian Martin and Kevin Henhog had the hardest shots that I ever played on a team with. We had a lot of other guys had good shots, and I sit and think about the guys that we used to play with and how good they were in their department. There was guys that Dan Logan. I look at him, and you got to have guys like that. Him and Ob. Kenny Hill. Kenny was one of the biggest and meanest defensemen you'd ever want to run into. And Kenny played football and stuff too, so he loved to hit. Con Smith. Con, he was like an animal out there when you piss him off.
Yeah.
Nicest guy in the world, but you put that equipment on him and Dan and Mike Bomberry, they turned into the Tasmanian Devils.
Is that Dan Logan?
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah, that's my buddy Spud. Danny Weiss, that'd be his dad. And
yeah.
Danny's a pretty tough guy.
Oh.
So yeah.
Yeah, the apple don't fall too far from the tree there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was saying Danny, he's like a little dump truck. Boy, when he hits them, boy, they know they've been hit.
Yeah, Danny has a thing. He says, I don't know. He says like Spud Smash. Like, what the heck's that? I don't know.
Spud Smash.
Just come over here and I'll
Yeah,
show you.
yeah. That's just like leave it alone.
I remember watching when I was younger, watching Delby and these guys all play. All the guys he's talked about, I've watched them play, and I didn't play very long to even crack a senior roster. But I remember watching you guys play and being in the Schweigen, the old Schweigen Warriors.
Yeah.
I remember watching those games.
I remember the arena would be just packed.
Yeah, it would
when
be.
When we played against Syracuse or Newtown, the arena was just packed, and people would be there early getting chairs and stuff watching the game. I remember playing, and it's so hot in there because there's so many people and no air conditioning, and it's not like nowadays. And that's when we built the arena. We wanted to make sure we had that kind of stuff in there.
Yeah.
Speaking of Newtown, like we're not gonna get into like the Grand River Warriors drama. We're gonna because like there's some Can-Am stuff there. We're not gonna get into that this episode. But what is the beef like this? Because I've heard this goes back very far. That Six Nations and Newtown. There's always been kind of a beef with lacrosse.
Newtown, I gotta say they had some really good players, and like I say, Jeff Gill was probably one of the top players that I've ever played against, and they had good teams, and that's where the rivalry was, the two top teams, and it would always be every year us and Newtown. A lot of times Syracuse would get in there every now and again because of guys like Boss Bucktooth and his brother Kevin and guys. Barry Powless and a lot of guys that played on that team were good, and it seemed like that rivalry is because that's where the talent was. That's where the best teams were, But after the game's over. I remember we'd go down to the bar down the road at Judy's there, and have a couple of milkshakes and stuff.
A couple of milkshakes.
Yeah. Spend a lot of time and make more friends, and we got along good after the game. But like the old thing is saying, war on the floor. You're out there to win, and that's what we were trying to do.
like we do have your lacrosse sticks here, so I wanted to ask you about your lacrosse sticks. What is like the process of making these? And like I have watched on YouTube. That is as close as I've gotten to the seeing the process of it. So can you kind of explain like what you do?
Well, when in the old days, I used to split them all the time, but nowadays with the tools that we have nowadays, a lot of use a saw, like cut them on a bandsaw and use that, cut them to like inch and a half in lengths. Like say for a player's stick, go about 6 feet, sometimes a little bit over 6 feet, and then you cut them down to the inch and a half or whatever dimensions you want, depending on how thick you want your sticks and stuff. So then you put them in a steamer and you steam them, and it's kind of a rule of thumb is an hour per inch. So say like one of these, like this here, that's a inch and a half. So you put it in there for an hour and a half, most likely 2 hours to soften it up. You don't want to leave it in there too long; it gets too rubbery. It takes a lot longer to dry out and stuff. But once you bend it, we put it in and have a jig and pin it on a plate, and then you pin it, and then you put the wires on there to hold it in place. This here will be down about here, so you'll have a wire on there, and you'll leave it and let it dry for a few weeks or whatever, however long it takes to where that wire will loosen up. Once the wire is kind of loose enough that you can take it, it's going to stay in place. Then that's when after you got all your bends done, then you start to do all the finishing, taking off the corners and stuff. And like I say, with the tools, I know the tools that we have nowadays, they used to use the knives all the time. A lot of guys did. Alfie, I think, always used the knives and stuff. But now, like with the tools that I have, I know if Mel Squires or Willie Logan had the tools that I got now, I'm pretty sure they'd use them.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it makes it a lot easier, quicker to do the finishing part. Same with the drills, And before they used to use all leather. A lot of guys have switched to the nylon. I know personally for myself, I get requests for some that are all leather. They want them all leather, and I'll make them all leather. Same. Another thing is with the cat gut. See this cat gut here? That's 10 years from now, that'll be just that straight. Remember the old days where they used to curl over with the cat gut before, and you'd have to put popsicle sticks in there and try to keep it straight and stuff like that. But with this nylon and fiberglass resin, that cat gut will stay just as straight as it is right now. You don't have to worry about the dampness rotting it out. There's evolution like of lacrosse, how the sticks were in the old days, the smaller sticks, and then they went to bigger sticks, and then some of them were like almost like goalie sticks. Now they've gone to plastic sticks, but there's always something to make it hopefully better. For me, using the tools that I use makes it easier for me. It's quicker. I know people call me all the time. I'm shipping sticks out to BC. I shipped I think about 106 out to BC back up until May, and then I just shipped one again the other day to another person. I got a guy from Pennsylvania. I got to send 3 down there, and I ship them all over the place. Hamilton, New York, their school, when the guys go over age on their lacrosse team, the field lacrosse team, he gives them all a stick, and I would burn Hamilton Lacrosse on there and their number. So that's to be able to make them quicker and make them more available to more people, the better off, it is keeping the wooden sticks in there. I know a lot of people complain about wooden sticks in lacrosse. They've tried to ban them I don't know how many times and how many years, but we're still making them. A lot of people say, "Oh, only the native people can get them." That's not true. Nowhere near the truth. If they want a stick, they can go down to the ILA. They can get a hold of me, get a hold of the Mitchell brothers. You know, there's so many stick makers out there, and you go on the traditional lacrosse, you'll see a bunch of guys on there. So, you know, if they want wooden sticks, they're available.
Yeah, for sure. It's like it's one of those like hidden things. I feel like not hidden things, but like, you know, as like let's say a non-native might be like, oh, I don't know if I'm allowed to own one or something like that.
Oh,
Like I feel like that would be kind of like or like, oh, I would really like to get one, but like I don't know if it's okay to ask someone where to get one or if it's appropriate.
you know, I think about the stigma that people put on us, and that being one of them. That am I allowed to use it? Of course. Like back before the plastic sticks, there was non-native teams, and they all used wooden sticks.
That's all that was available.
Yeah, because there was no plastic stick then. So for somebody to ask now, am I allowed? You know, somewhere along the line, somebody has taught them wrong. They've taught them something that they don't need to know or don't need to think about.
Well, that's what I mentioned earlier. You see a lot of players who have a wooden stick bring it out in the third period because they're only intending to injure. And I said those players don't know how to use it.
Yeah.
I explained to Koichi how a lot of our babies, our sons, are generally given a stick in their first crib,
Yeah.
or in the hospital even.
Yeah.
And to us, it's like our right or left arm. My first stick was a Squire stick made by Mel, and it had its own bed.
Oh,
I made a bed for my stick. Yeah.
Yeah, I think about back, I think it was the President's Cup. Jeremy Thompson was playing for, I'm thinking it was Akwesasne, and they won the President's Cup. And Jeremy used a wooden stick the whole tournament, and he won the scoring championship, and he used a wooden stick the whole, and he didn't break anybody's fingers. And, you know, if you know how to use it, you know, they're awesome. You know, I never, when they started that Pro League and they had that team in Brantford, Ontario team, they were called, that's when Jim Veltman was just coming into the league. And there was, Daryl Squires, George Atkins, myself, bunch of us from home here going up there to play. We got drafted by them. So then we go out to practice, and they told me that I had to use a plastic stick. I said, I never used a plastic stick in my life. My Uncle Ross called them Tupperware sticks.
Tupperware.
Yeah.
Disrespect.
And I said, I'm not going to use one of those. And they said, well, I have to. I said, well, why? They said, for TV. I said, what do you mean for TV? He said, they want them to be able to slash and make it look more, and he said, barbaric for TV. Because if you slash the way they do now with these sticks here, the guys will be getting their fingers broke, their wrists broke, and stuff like that. So I said, no, I said, that's all right. You can go ahead and do whatever you want, but I'm not going to use a plastic stick. I says, time for me to retire anyway. I said, I'll just go and coach my boys. So it's their turn now. So I never went back. And here, the first game, they are still advertising that we were playing. And so the first game, there was like 1,500 people went up there from home here to go and watch. So then none of us were playing. And here the next week, they had 200.
Yeah.
I didn't see there, but they wanted us all to use plastic sticks, and I wasn't going to use a plastic stick. I remember the first player I ever seen use a plastic stick was Ron Henry,
Moser, yeah.
Yeah, and he was playing for Niagara, and we stepped on that stick, we clubbed it, everything, trying to break it. We finally broke it. Here he went and popped another hit on there, and away he went again.
It was good to go, yeah.
Yeah, that's when they first came out. He was the first one I ever seen use a plastic stick.
I always never understood why people would have a wooden shaft but a plastic head on the stick. It's just like, I don't know. To me, I never understood it. Like I get it, but they're probably using it for the wrong reason. I would feel like they're purposely using it to hurt someone.
I remember when those plastic sticks start becoming really big. I played on a minor team in Brantford, and we were sponsored by STX, probably STX Generation 1. And had the plastic stick and a aluminum shaft, but it was so flimsy. Guys were bending them, taking shots. You're winding up and taking a shot, and your shaft's bending. And not like a pro bend like you'd see today on an aluminum or carbon fiber shaft, like bending and kinking like a broomstick or a broom handle. You know, the cheap brooms, you get sweeping or whatever, and they just bend and they kink. That's what those shafts were doing. So a lot of those sticks came with wooden shafts on them already.
I remember a guy, Lindy Templeton.
Yep.
He had a hockey stick for a shaft, and then they ended up outlawing those, like that you weren't able because it had the square corners on it.
Mm-hmm.
They end up outlawing those, but he was the first one I ever seen using a hockey stick for a shaft.
Was this before or after the Happy Gilmore movie? Because I feel like he could have been inspired by that.
Oh, that was way before.
Way before.
Gilmore,
Way before Happy.
Yeah, Jesus, that would be back in the 80s.
Early.
Yeah, early 80s.
Because I think the first plastic had come out in like, what, 70 something.
I don't know. The first one I seen come out was one Mouse had. And then I start seeing more and more after that, and I was kind of surprised. And then next thing you know, away they went. But then when guys knew that they had to use those if they wanted to play in the pros, then everybody kind of adapted to it, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
So that they were able to go on.
Now, I have a question for you. We've been talking about this, I think, the last couple of episodes of the podcast, but like, we need a bigger arena. What can we do about that? Is it possible?
He just rubs his head.
Yeah,
Don't
is
get me
it?
started
I don't know.
No, it has come up though. We've said a few times we don't need a bigger one. We need another one already.
When I was on council, and I was the chairman for recreation, and this was going back in 2000. And we had a master plan, and the master plan, on that original master plan, we had a 3,000 seating capacity arena on there, and this was just before the RAMA money was coming down. Now, this master plan that we had the 3,000 seating arena. We were keeping that one, and then that was going to be a second arena to it. We had the swimming pool, we had the elders room, we had the youth room, we had a gymnasium and a community hall, and all that was on the master plan. When it come down to voting to okay the money for it, it was tied 5-5, and the chief had to make the final decision, and he turned it down, and we had the money to build that, to do that, and we put a lot of work into that to get that other arena, and here it ended up getting turned down. I couldn't even sleep that night. It was like 4:30 in the morning. The reason he gave me was that's too much money to give to one committee. And I had such a hard time with that. We could have had, and it was a beautiful community hall and gymnasium and stuff, and a lot better than what we have here, a lot bigger. Plus we had the swimming pool in there. Yeah, there was a lot of things. We had the walking track inside, where the gymnasium was here, and the dressing rooms were underneath. Up top was the seating to watch the games, and around that was the walking track, and that was in the master plan originally. So we would have had 2 arenas at that time, and that's what I say. That didn't stop me. That's when I got the okay from my wife to go with the other arena. We needed another one, but we need it for hockey too.
Well,
We need another hockey arena.
The monster that's been created, and I say that in a very, very good way, is we have so many kids wanting to play lacrosse now. We're upwards of 20-something teams in minor alone, and now we have 4 junior teams, 4 senior teams, not including 2 masters teams. So there's actually 6 our senior teams and senior women's. So by having that the ILA built, it's generated so many lacrosse players in our community that now there's another surface that needs to be put up somewhere.
Yeah.
And just think, like you said, like how many years ago was this? Because now they're trying to build like a pool. I'm pretty sure Six Nations trying to build a pool, but we could have had that how many years ago?
Yeah, that was 24 years ago.
Yeah, like 24
would've
years
been
ago, we
there.
could have just think of what could have been done, and it could have been there.
Yeah.
See, Coach, you could have came here and learned to better yourself at lacrosse and joined our swim team.
Swim team?
Yeah, swim,
Well, we don't have a swim team unless you want to swim in a river.
swim like a rock. Huh?
Swim like the road.
Swim like a rock.
So, what else is going on at the ILA? I know that you have to get going soon, so I just want to get like a little bit of updates. Is there anything new going on? Of course, we know, like right now, you're probably late for the game. I don't know, but the Arrows are playing right now. Do you have any insight of like how do you think the playoffs are going to go for Arrows? Rivermen are actually playing at the ILA now.
Friday night,
Oh,
game 1.
I just hope and that we get better reffing. I think everybody's seen on Facebook the way we got shafted out in Peterborough, the calls that were made, and they pretty much handed it to them, and that's pretty much what we used to call the old boys club out there.
Yeah.
So hopefully there's going to be eyes on the game tonight as far as officiating goes. If we can get a fair shake, we can beat anybody.
Well, they always say don't leave it up to chance, right?
Yeah, and that's when we coach the Arrows, we told our guys, guys, we got to be twice as good as the other teams. We can't be close, because if it's close, what's going to happen is the referees are going to step in and they're going to take over and they're going to hand it to the other teams. I've seen it so many times. I've been through it so many times. The World's out in Halifax when Iroquois Nationals were playing Team Canada, and we were beating them, and there was a little skirmish around in front of the net there with 4 minutes left, and here they were just pushing and shoving, no fights. The referees gave us 2 penalties, and Team Canada got nothing. Now, we had 2 penalties. They scored shorthand 5-on-3 and tied it up. Then they scored again, and because 5-on-4, and they went ahead. Our guys didn't give up. They came back, and we scored 55 seconds left and tied it up. And then we went into overtime. I had some of the referees, some of the head referees in Ontario, come up to me after, and he said, there's no way they should have made a call like that in a game like that. If anything, they should have took them both. But to watch it, pushing and shoving, it should have been just, the other team's ball or whatever. But again, the old boys club, that's how it works. And we weren't far enough ahead, but we were close enough that the referees could take over and change the game.
Yeah, I remember always hearing that, like growing up, is like, you gotta play the refs too tonight, like,
Oh, yeah.
because they're not playing with you, they're playing against you.
Yeah, it's hard, and I remember a fella, Greg Hill, when I was coaching, he said, Delby, I was wondering why you're always getting mad and getting kicked out. He says, I couldn't really see it because they were minors. And he said, then I coached my son's team, Keegan, coached their team. And he said, the first game, he says, I got thrown out in the 3rd period. Second game, I got thrown out in the 2nd period. He said, it's hard to sit back and watch how the refs and the other teams get away with so much stuff, and you're supposed to sit back and take it. And that's a lot of time why I got thrown out so many times, because you get tired of it, and to sit back and take it, it's hard for me to do.
Especially in the minor system, because like as parents, like you're probably sitting there like, well, hey, like you're teaching my kid that this is okay, that this is right to be treated unfairly, and we can't do anything about it. and that's like it's such a society thing. Like it's that, like you said, that boys club.
Yeah. I remember we played in Brantford because of the arena down here. We moved the Junior Braves, we were called back then, to Brantford. So we had some guys from Brantford, good players and stuff. And one of the guys we were playing against, I think it was Brampton, and one of the guys on our team that were non-native, he come up to me and he says, "What's a wahoo?" I said, "What?" He said, "That guy called me a wahoo. What is that?"
I know what that is, but
we all start laughing because, like, we've been getting called names and stuff like that our whole lives, and for us, we were used to it. I remember Bob Heinbuck, his boy Larry was playing on our team, and some of the stuff that Larry was getting called, like wagon burner and stuff like that, and boy, Bob, he wasn't one to just put up with stuff like that, and he was up in the stands just. He was the one ready to fight the most, and you know, because we were used to. It's hard to say or sad to say that we were used to it, but that's what we had to play through.
Yeah.
You know, that kind of racism and stuff.
We've over the years, I've had a lot of non-native players come to Six Nations because they wanted to get better. They came here, they've joined our team, made our teams, and their parents would come up and go, "I can't get over how that you guys have put up with this for so long." I'm like, well, and I even said to a couple of the parents, I remember playing against you guys not that long ago, and you guys were the very same, saying these same things, and now you're on this side of the coin. You see what we put up with, and don't get me wrong, Del, it's 2024, and we still get called wagon burners.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's sad, but you know, it made us stronger, made us work harder, made us better, you know, to have to play through the game plus the extra stuff that they're throwing at us. But you learn to, you know, let it roll off your back and keep going.
Yeah, and like it's the creator's game. It's like it's medicine, right?
Yeah.
It's you know, you got to take how can I word it? But like you know, you got to take the yin and the yang, the good and the bad. This brings so much like greatness to our lives, but at the same time that you know, sometimes when you put yourself out there, like even for example, like let's say that like someone wanted to play lacrosse and they're like, "Oh yeah, I want to come to Six Nations," and then they're like, "Oh, well, we don't want you to play on Six Nations," and that's like kind of like a thing. But really, it's the creator's game. It's medicine. It's for everyone.
Yeah.
Like that is literally like what lacrosse is for. It's to get out there, put your best foot forward, make your life better, and like that's, to me, that's what lacrosse is. Well, it's like a way of life.
You know, I can honestly say we've never, any teams that I've ever played on, turned somebody away because of their race. You know, I've played with a lot of guys that non-native guys over the years. You know, they're teammates, and that's pretty much where it stayed. I remember a fella, one of our best players in junior, when we played in Brantford, Robbie Jones, and he was black, but that guy was an awesome lacrosse player. He was an awesome basketball player. He refs hockey and stuff now, but you know, he was just like one of us, one of the guys. You know, we treated him like a brother. He treated us like a brother. Yeah, and he was a good lacrosse player, so he learned a lot playing with us. Toughened him up a bit, you know, and you know, whenever somebody was calling him names, you know, our fans, our players stuck up for him like as if he was one of us. Yeah.
All right, well, I wanna let you go because I do know you have a lacrosse game to get to, but I want to thank you for coming on the show. And for everyone who is listening right now, you can place a bid. Go to www.beyondpride.com. We are going to have an online auction for a lacrosse stick to help raise some funds to keep this show going, because this is all just done out of community, out of the love for the game, for the creator's game. Me and Jay get together every week. We try to get together every week and just talk lacrosse, and hopefully the community can be like, hey, yeah, like we like what you do, we don't like what you do. You can come on here and you can tell us like all this is for the community. This is actually like what it's for. It's because, again, we talk about other things than just like lacrosse. Like the history of Six Nations in general. I could feel like this is something good that the community needs. So we're trying to raise some funds. So I want to thank you for coming on the show.
Yeah, thank you very much. It was a pleasure to be here.
Manny Now is
No.
the Creators Game Podcast.